Now, from CBS News Miami, this is Facing South Florida with Jim DeFede.
Welcome to Facing South Florida. I'm Jim DeFede. Later in the show, we will talk to Kim Rivers, the CEO of TruLeave, the cannabis company that spent $40 million to get the marijuana amendment on the ballot this November. But first, Luther Campbell is considering a run for Congress. Uncle Luke, as he is known, is a rap pioneer. He is a legend in the rap industry, and he really set the scene here in Miami with his group, 2 Live Crew. Their biggest album, As Nasty as They Want to Be, went platinum nearly 35 years ago, selling more than 1 million copies. But after being arrested in Broward in 1990 on obscenity charges for performing songs from that album, Luke became a free speech advocate and political activist. In 2011, he ran for mayor of Miami-Dade County, where he came in 4th with 11% of the vote. Now he's considering a run for Congress against Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick, who represents parts of Broward and Palm Beach counties. And he is here with us this morning. Luke, thank you for coming in.
Hey, man, you're welcome, man.
You know, we've known each other for a long time.
Yep.
Many, many years, going back decades, I think.
Yeah.
Why do you want to do this? Why are you even considering a run for Congress?
Man, let me tell you, Jim, I'm like a guy on the sidelines, and I'm always on Twitter Space doing these spaces. We talk in the barbershop. People talk about the different issues that affect their lives, and so, you know, I'm like, look, man, either you're going to sit on the sideline or you're going to get in the game and try to make some change. And so that's why I'm really thinking about it. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, when you look at the district, you look at Palm Beach County, you look at Riviera Beach with a homeless issue, you look at Riviera Beach with water issues that you don't hear about on a daily basis where these people need a plant. Then you look at, you know, what has happened in Belle Glades in that area where the machines have taken over the jobs and no longer the people are cutting the sugar cane. You know, the jobs are being taken up by the machines. And you look in, you know, Dade, not Dade, but Broward County, you know, in those different areas in there. I mean, it's some parts of Broward County look like a third world country.
Well, right now, that area, it's Broward and parts of and a lot of
Yes.
Palm Beach County, you know, are represented by Congresswoman Cherfilus-McCormick.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think she's not doing the job?
Well, the thing is, when you go around, and so like what I did before even considering this is go around looking at, you know, talking to different people in the community, talking to pastors, talking to community leaders, going into these different areas before I even, you know, consider it. Say, like, I understand your issues. Is there a problem with your Congress lady? And majority of those folks say, look, we don't even see our Congress lady. She's not available, and here are the issues. You know, she went and spoke to the Riviera Beach Commission last week, had a list of things, but those lists of things didn't address the issues of Riviera Beach, which is a homeless issue and a water plant issue. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at those different types of things, and when you go talk to the good people in the Glades, those folks have issues. They got housing issues. They have issues with job problems. And you go up in Broward, and you go to some of these schools like Boyd Anderson, and you look at as soon as you pull in the parking lot, it looks like a third world country.
Well, what makes you think, though, that you're uniquely qualified to represent them?
Because I'm different. I'm different. I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman. I'm not the regular person who's excited to hold a seat but not really do anything about a seat. You know what I'm saying? I'm the person that will probably end up bringing the money. You know, I can go fight Ron DeSantis. I can go tell him, hey, look, we need that federal dollar to trickle down to the people that you're holding up, because you're holding this money up because you don't want to win for Biden. You know what I'm saying? And so those are things that you got to do. And if he don't bring the money down, you got to be creative. You know, you got to be creative to get that money to these people. Our folks need the money. That district is 70% Democrat and 70% African American, and those people are suffering.
So I know you're going to make a decision. You have to make a decision by April 26th. You have to decide.
Yes.
And you'll make that decision by then. You're leaning towards running. That's the impression I get.
I'm really leaning towards running.
Okay.
You know, I'm really leaning, because I mean, it's nothing telling me that I shouldn't do it. You know?
Well, let me ask you this. Is this, there's been reports that, Mark Caputo from The Bulwark is the one who broke the story about your considering a run. He also noted that you were being followed around by a documentary film crew. Is this a serious effort to run for Congress, or are you just creating a reality show?
No, it's a serious effort because I think most people want transparency with their politicians. You get on here every weekend and you speak to politicians and you want them to be as transparent as they could be, and they sit here and they dance around the answers, they dance around the questions, and you pretty much, what the answer is, but you don't really get the true answer. So it's not a thing for for a TV show or anything like that.
Are you worried that if you run and were to get in there, you make Congress more of a circus, or is Congress already a circus?
No, it's a circus already. I mean, as soon as I started thinking about running, you had Matt Gaetz, the big clown of the Republican Party, come after me, which I had no problem with that fight, Jim. I mean, when you look at the Republican Party, I mean, they started off one as Tea Party, and they were spitting on congressmen and women, and then they went from Tea Party, then they went to Trump Party, Tea Party on steroids, and then where they're at right now. And you see these things, you see the Republican Party in the direction that they're going. They're really bullying African Americans. African Americans get bullied on every level of politics. I mean, taking books out of schools. Now we have a diversity inclusion. We're calling certain. I mean, they're getting bullied. So you need somebody to push back. Majority of African American Congress men and women, I mean, they're old. They're tired. They ain't got no more fight in them. They need somebody to go up there and fight for them, or fight with them.
You talk about politics and the circus up there. Politics can be nasty. Yeah. I mean, your famous album, As Nasty as You Want to Be, but politics can be nasty. Yep. I'm curious, what do you think? You ran for Dade County Mayor a number of years ago. Which is nastier, the record industry, the music business, or politics? Politics,
because you have so many lying politicians. That's why I would be never categorized as a politician. I would be categorized as a civil servant, the same thing that I do on a daily basis. Politicians lie. They lie all the time. They lie to the people. They come there and lie to you. They lie in your face all the time. They lie to news reporters, and they lie to the people.
Well, let me ask you this. You talk about how nasty things can get. You talked about Matt Gaetz. You saw that he put out a tweet, just right after you started talking about this. Luke may be a fun uncle, but he's not much of a dad. And he's referencing the idea that you've had children from multiple women. How are you going to address when those sorts of issues come up?
When those sorts of issues come up, that's the regular common folk issue. Back in the days, everybody felt like a politician had to be squeaky clean. I got the same issues as the people that I'm representing. Everybody, you have people who had to go bankrupt, and they had to go Chapter 11, reorganize, get their life back together. These are the things that are happening with people every day. So I've had child support issues. Every one of my kids have been paid $2,500 a month, and all of them are older kids. They're doing great, in life. And so, that's just the nature of the beast. So I can relate to the average person in that district. I can relate to the average person that go to the difficult things.
You think politicians too often are hypocrites? They preach one thing and are something else?
But why would I want somebody to represent me that hasn't been through anything that I've been through? You know what I'm saying? You can always, talk all beautiful, oh, I'm squeaky clean and I've never been through that. I don't want that guy. I don't want nobody to represent me that has never been through anything, because if you have not been through something in life, whether it's a divorce or whether it's a issue or whether you got removed from your house or whether you had a foreclosure issue, you know what I'm saying? I want a politician who have been through those things and came out of it and became a better person.
Are you ready for the issues in a race like this?
Of course.
I mean, let me just let's start off with a tough one. Israel. What's your position with regard to U.S. continuing to support Israel and their invasion and their retribution against Hamas?
I'm for peace. I'm for peace. I mean, when you look at these kids on one side dying, but then at the same time, when you look at, the invasion of a nice, beautiful party that I probably would have been attending or been hosting as an artist, and allowing that taking place and taking hostages and all that. I'm for peace when it comes to that.
So what does that mean? Does that mean no more support for Israel? Or
that means support for Israel if it's about peace. But at the end of the day, this war has been going on too long. You know, it has to be a solution to it.
All right, let's try another one. Haiti, what are you going to do in Haiti? You would represent a lot of Haitians.
Let me tell you, I represent Haitians every day. I coach at Miami Edison Senior High. 90% of my student athletes are Haitian. My principal is Haitian. The entire school is Haitian. I mean, I've been there for 5, 6 years, and the community that I grew up in is predominantly Haitian. My best friend is Haitian. And when I look at the issue in Haiti, you know what I'm saying? Again, that's another reason why I would want to jump in this race, because I look at the congresswomen that are representing this area and representing Haitian people. They ain't doing nothing. You know, they just started talking about it.
What would you do? What would you want to do?
I go hop on an airplane right now and go have a conversation with Barbecue. I'll go right over there. Hey, look here,
the gang leader. I would
go have a conversation with Barbecue, the gang leader, and we'll have a conversation, sit down. I mean, we have had conversation as a country with more notorious gangsters than this young man. This young man, you know, you need to hear him out, hear what the issues are. I mean, we've been living here forever in South Florida. We done seen the Papa docs, the baby docs, and all kind of other docs that came out of Haiti that took advantage of the good people of Haiti. Somebody needs to go over there and have a conversation with those folks to be able to bring some peace to that.
We have only about a minute left.
That's all a minute?
We'll get you back. Once you formally declare and become a candidate, we'll come back.
Now, I'm only doing this with you because it's you, because other than that, I've turned down every other interview.
Well, let me ask you this. The marijuana amendment that's going to come on, you support it?
Of course I support it. I mean, you know, hey, when I ran for mayor, you know, I supported marijuana. I support it wholeheartedly.
All right. Once you decide, come back and we'll get deep on the issues.
No doubt.
You're going to do that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Luke, always a pleasure seeing you. I appreciate you coming down and fighting the traffic. All right. When we come back, we will talk about the constitutional amendment to make recreational marijuana use legal. Stay with us.